Yo, what is going on, fellas? Got a great game for you here. This is going to be me against Kmac. This is in a CFM, the same CFM that I posted last week. This is a very fun but unique CFM in the sense that it has pretty much banned all the overpowered abilities outside of like Edge Threat and there's a couple others, but all your pass lead abilities are pretty much thrown out the window. There is no set feet lead. There is no gunslinger, there's no pass lead elite, there's no identifier, no threat detector. Pretty much a lot of the ones that are just, mandatory to have on your MUT team, they are pretty much out of the way, right? So I am Buffalo, he is Detroit, and in this game, in theory, you would think that I had the much better team, and although I do have a better team than him, it's not as drastic as it should have been in terms of an overall team advantage. And that is mainly due to the fact that Josh Allen, outside of having Fearless and Hot Route Master, he pretty much is, he's just another average quarterback, right? He doesn't have Slinger 1, so his ability or his release is slower than some others. There's a lot of negatives that come with having Josh Allen, although there is a perks, right? You do have Hot Route Master, you do have Fearless. As you can see, Kmac is running DB Fire 2. This is a defense that, if you watched my gameplay against him in the second tournament of the year, the second MCS tournament, when we were both making a deep run, you saw that this is the same type of defense that he ran back then. So not anything really new. And you'll see I'm in Pittsburgh. So it's almost like a mirror match in terms of what we ran offense versus defense previously, except now without all the crazy abilities, it just looks a little bit different. All right, so now in terms of his offense, though, as you guys will see, he is not in a normal scheme. I don't know if this is something he's labbing or if it's something he's been working on or if he just randomly picked the playbook for fun. I have no idea. But he's going to be in the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. It really was kind of all over the place, as you'll see. He's going to be in bunch tight end. He's going to be in pistol wing flex close. He'll be in normal wide close. He'll be in trio offset, I believe is what it's called. But he's going to be all over the place offensively. And it may be the fact that, he doesn't have hot routes. That's a big thing in this CFM is with Jared Goff, who is his quarterback. He doesn't have hot route master. He doesn't have fearless. So some of his normal route combos he may be trying to run, he might not have. So, it's definitely interesting. This is definitely one of those things that takes a bit to get used to. And as you'll see, I am actually going to be busting out the Wesley defense. This is going to get really good advantage. Ideally, I want to send 4 people, and I want to loop around his running back. Like, that's the idea of what I'm trying to do. Now, you'll see that I am mixing it up between cover 2, cover 3. I'll do that at cover 4. And the purpose of that is I have 3 zoned out abilities on my defensive 2 safeties and then 1 corner. So I have the deep out elite and then the mid zone KOs on 2 of those guys. So I'm hoping to bring pressure to trigger the under pressure abilities that I have on my defensive ends. And then if I don't get that in there, if he does get a pass off, I do want to be able to, hopefully knock that out. Although, as you guys, I'm sure if you've played regs or you played in these CFMs, they just don't react to they don't react to much. But there's a good example of him hike throwing a seam route that normally would be completed against a random zone with no ability, but of course I've got my deep zone and mid zone KO guy right there. So you'll see my theory on how I'm playing defense against him is I want to loop around his running back, which is obviously key. So I want to be able to bring pressure that way. I want the under pressures to come in. Perfect example right there, although I do think that is the only example of the under pressure actually working. But then you'll also notice that it's very rare that I press. If anything, I'm oftentimes backing off my coverage shell because he has Jamison Williams, who is 98 speed and basically unguardable with stock rosters, right? So I think my fastest corner on my team is 92 speed, and I could be wrong there, but he's got a drastic speed advantage from his receivers to my DBs. I've got a 90 speed DB, an 89 speed DB, 92, and I think 89. Like, those are my DBs. So like I need to bring pressure, which as you guys are seeing, I'm mixing in 3-3 and 3-3-5 or 3-3 cub. And yeah, I'm just mixing in my covered shells. I'm doing a couple different adjustments right there. He went to the previous play where he tried to hit that post over to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who he has at tight end, and you saw that I was in my stock cover 4, but what I did is I shaded down and I shaded to the inside, and you saw that the DB, who is the one DB that does not have abilities, he actually jumped in front of that and picked that off for me. So that was definitely much appreciated. So we are back on offense here, and it's pretty much all the same, right? I'm running a lot of the same stuff I've been running. I feel like I can run this offense in my sleep against even the best players in the world, and I do. I think Kmac is one of the better players in the world, not only this year but most years. Right? He's a good player overall. I have only matched up with him once competitively. It was the game earlier this year, as I mentioned, and I did lose that game. Although there was plenty of opportunities for me to win, I just ultimately choked that game away. So I know he's good. I know I'm going to have to be on point. And then you top all of this off with the fact that I have a ability game in this one, and pretty much an impossible one against a quality opponent like him. I've got to hold my opponent under 150 yards passing, or get like four interceptions or tackles for losses, or some crazy stat that's pretty much unobtainable with Roquan Smith, who will get him up to a superstar X factor, which not mandatory, but it's definitely would be nice to have. So you see that I'm running the ball a lot. I know he's in dollar. I know he's going to really struggle to take away a lot of my route combos when I do decide to pass, but I've got to keep him honest, and that's really what you see me doing. It's kind of funny because when we played in the MCS, he literally ran the ball almost every single play on me. I was able to gap shoot 90% of the people I played. He was not one of them, and I just got absolutely torched on the ground. So it's kind of comical that I was able to return the favor to him here in this game, even though this game, obviously, we're not playing for millions of dollars or anything like that here. So ultimately, you see we go down, we score again. I felt like I was a step ahead of him pretty much the entire game in terms of what I wanted to do offensively and what he was going to do back to me defensively. As you saw right there, I get into Jumbo. He run commits out of goal line, which would have stopped any run that I did have. But I had a flat pass, right? So I had a flat corner and then an in-route corner. So pretty much no matter where he went, I was going to be able to attack that. And, of course, we were able to do that. And, yeah, so as you see, once again, I'm back on defense. I'm dropping my coverage shell off. He's looking for the bomb to Jameson Williams. Not really having it. Like I said, I had to play this way mainly due to the speed advantage that he had on his offense. And then I really wanted to force everything underneath, right? So you can do this against almost every player, but especially when they don't have abilities like this to where they can't just dink and dunk all the way down the field. So basically my whole thought process defensively, as you see, like I'm audibling to cover 3, sometimes I'm in cover 4, sometimes I'm in drop, sometimes I'm in man, I'm in cover 2. I'm all over the place. And part of that is because he's kind of all over the place offensively, right? I don't really know what he's trying to do. But as you see, it's working really well for me. I'm bringing pressure. I'm mixing up what I want to do. And pretty much we're keeping everything in front of us, which was my goal going into this game. So you'll see, once again, obviously he's a good player. I'm not going to stop him every single drive. I'm not going to completely blank him in terms of, the game. But I do have the ability to really make him work, and that's the main goal of it here. As you see, mixing everything up, making some different adjustments, zoning different people out, and you'll see that throughout the course of this game, he really wasn't. I don't know if he was confident in what he was running, which would explain kind of why he was bouncing around as much. But I'm sure you see that we're making him work. So here's another 4th down. As you guys have seen, we've both had quite a few 4th downs, honestly. He had 2 or 3. I had 2 or 3. And it's a good game, right? It's a good game of Madden. He is now in a 5 wide with 2 people blocking. I don't know why he was going to what he was going to. So it's kind of difficult for me to explain what he's doing. Here he actually makes a good read, but a bit late. He rolled right, had the trail route going back across the field after I left it. Should have been a big play, but you start rolling right and you get in trouble. Here we get a nice little fat guy pick. Gotta love those. I get clicked on my defensive tackle, so I bait with the crossing route and I go jump the running back and I get the pick. So right here, I know he's on tilt at this point. I'm mixing the run in. There we call a screen. I felt like that screen was set up perfectly, and as you saw, he did run commit right there. I've been using that motion all game to run the ball effectively against Dollar. It's one of the best ways to stop the gap shoots against Dollar. So I knew that he was going to get aggressive, whether it be call spinner or his user just immediately bites down on that. I pretty much knew that I would get an overreaction, so I used the time to mix in that screen. Screens are very effective in this year's game. A lot of people sleep on them. I don't really know why. But yeah, we caught his user, biting down. He actually ran commit, and then his user went to the right because he followed the guy all the way over. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And here you see, we've got him pretty much in a snuggie at this point. Like I said, I don't know. Like it's hard for me to sit here and boast about a game of Madden because I don't know if this was the very first time he's been in this offense or if he's just playing to have fun. I mean, hell, the man could be hammered, right? The game that we just played. Or we just watched play. We had some good football with the Bengals and Chiefs game that just happened not too long after this. And yeah, so here we get another pick. And that was just to mix them up, right? I've been running a lot of cover 3. That time I audible to cover 2. Here we're going to go ahead audible and we're going to run the ball here. And yeah, this is 21-0. The game's getting pretty dark. And in the rules in this league, you are allowed to concede in the fourth quarter, which I am perfectly okay with. Because, as I mentioned earlier, I had the dev ability game where I had to hold him under 150 yards. And I think at this point in the game, he was at like 112 or something like that. And you'll see that he's going to ultimately get up out of here, end up quitting. And yeah, so we end up winning the game 21-0. It was a good game. I mean, really, I got a couple fourth downs where, if I would have gotten stopped, it would have been pretty rough for me. I was able to convert them. I got him off the field, played great defense, and as you see, we get the upgrade. And let me know if you guys want to see more of these. These are pretty fun to make.